California Governor Gavin Newsom's lockdown orders are wreaking havoc on the state's restaurant industry. I spoke with the owner of Slapfish Group, Chef Andrew Gruel, about the numerous changes he's had to make to his establishments and how it compares to his restaurants out of state. Take a look. It's a whole new obstacle with officials in various counties imposing their own lockdown orders. In Los Angeles, for example, both indoor and outdoor dining are not allowed. How are you faring with these new orders?
It's tough. I mean, first, we're already, dealing with the fact that there's a dampened kind of excitement when it comes to eating out. But then, obviously the new orders crush everything. So if we're relegated to really just doing takeout and delivery, and 95% of all of that takes place through these third-party apps, right? Kind of the Silicon Valley of the restaurant world. They're taking 30 cents off of every single dollar. So now we're pretty much just driven deep into the red. Restaurants have such thin margins as it is. I mean, it really is a death sentence.
Especially with the high rent prices in California and that retail space. I want to ask you, California's Department of Health issued a 15-page guide that restaurants must follow. What has it been like for you and your employees trying to adapt to these measures?
Yeah, I mean, and that's where it's been very difficult, first of all, because everything keeps changing. And then we as business owners, we're trying to get to the bottom of it to understand the science so that we can almost inherently understand how this new framework works. And when I say new framework, I mean multiple new frameworks, right? So when we go back and we look at the science, especially when it comes to a lot of these new regulations with a ban on outdoor dining, it's like the science just isn't there. I mean, recently they've used this study that was done months ago where you've got, 300 participants across 10 different states. I mean, that's 30 people that you're taking kind of more anecdotal evidence to determine that, yeah, they may have gotten coronavirus because they ate out at a restaurant. Still says nothing about outdoor dining. So it's really difficult for the restaurant owners because we don't know what to follow or what to believe, especially when our own leaders are out there breaking their own rules.
Absolutely, and we'll get to that in just a second. I do want to ask, you have restaurants outside of California. What are some of the main differences you see in operations among your restaurants out of state, such as Arizona?
Well, in Arizona, obviously, there's a lot more that's open. That restaurant has been very, very steady. So overall, across the entire enterprise, and we've got restaurants in 10 different states, we've seen a drop in sales. But the difference is a lot of the states that haven't been as fickle, if you will, or as kind of knee-jerk with some of their regulations and mandates, we've seen at least the sales remain steady enough so that we can project what we need for labor and purchasing and the ability to run a business. In the states where it's up and down, it's so hard to maintain any consistency that we just end up erring on the side of safety and unfortunately not being able to hire the team members that we otherwise would hire, right? And then that kind of starts this downward spiral. They have to file for unemployment. And here in California, I still have team members who haven't even gotten their unemployment benefits from way back in April.
Definitely something to keep in mind. And what was your reaction after Governor Newsom was seen unmasked indoors at a lobbyist dinner at the French Laundry restaurant, especially since everyone else is expected to abide by his rules? And then a new report came out saying that San Francisco's mayor was also at the restaurant, but a few days later, not abiding by their own rules. Your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, look, the reaction goes from anger to frustration across the entire gamut. But the point is that, as I'd mentioned early on, is we're still confused as business owners, right? So this just adds a whole new element of confusion to it because here we are and we're supposed to be listening to our leaders, but then they're basically saying, well, we're not scared of the virus because we're dining indoors in groups larger than we told you all to allow inside your own businesses. And therefore, we don't really take it that seriously. So you start to wonder, right? Well, if they don't take it seriously, well, what do they know that we don't know? Should we not take it seriously either, especially when the people who he was dining out with at that notorious dinner were his leading health officials?
Chef Andrew Gruel, thank you so much again.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Visit OANN.com for immediate access to all the clips you've been waiting to see.